Well, hello and welcome to the Wedding Guide podcast. I'm your host, Pete the Celebrant, and we are proudly sponsored by Easy Weddings. Easy Weddings, fantastic. They've got an incredible website. They've got apps. They've got everything to help you plan your wedding. You can find squillions of suppliers and vendors for your wedding. Everything. Cakes and suits and celebrants, photographers and videographers and shoes and everything you can think of. They are going to help you find them, and they'll even help you plan your own wedding for free. So I 100% recommend you go check out easyweddings.com.au. They'll help you get down that aisle with a perfect set of vendors for your ceremony. And joining us today for the podcast is Kyle Pasalskyj, all the way from Valley and Peak Weddings. It's so much fun to do weddings with Kyle and with Steve, his other half. I guess you could say that, not say that, but they're good fun to hang out with. And Kyle's coming on today, and honestly, we're just going to talk a bit of shit. We're just going to talk about life. We're going to talk about predominantly weddings. When I say life, weddings and experiences, and he really runs us through how he gets couples to feel comfortable, and so he can make sure he gets shots of them that are truly amazing. So please, everyone, please enjoy this hour as I talk with the most incredible Kyle Pasalskyj. Oh, hello. Hello and welcome, everyone. You just missed, I hit record too late. We just missed the shot of Fireball. I'm not even going to tell you what hour of the morning it is, but I am in deep respect. I'm going to call this, it's just water. It's not vodka, but
that's all right. It still hits the same. It's got just as much of a kick.
It's how photographers get up in the morning. Hooah!
Yeah. Good afternoon. Let's call it very late afternoon.
Yes, it is late
early
afternoon.
Evening.
It's basically pitch black outside. It's everyone else is in bed. Hey mate, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. Just getting it done.
We haven't done a wedding, feels, for a while yet. I haven't seen you in this new year yet. It's only Feb.
I think the last wedding that I saw you at was my sister's wedding. I think that was right. The last time. Yeah, that we had any interaction, which is a crying shame.
It is a crying shame. I have no doubt we'll have one soon coming up. We'd probably go through our list and be like, oh, yep, there we are.
Yeah. I mean, I was skimming through before. I think I saw your name pop up on 3 or 4 for the rest of this year. So happy days. It's I don't know, man. Any time getting to work with you. How many times have I seen you when I roll up to a wedding and I've forgotten that you're working, and I'll sprint across the ceremony space and launch into a bear hug.
It's a big bear hug from you too. It's good. Muscular arms.
Powerful
photographer arms. Take the right photos. That's good. How's your year going so far?
Started off, great. Had 2 weddings in early January, weekend to weekend, and then caught COVID at one of them. So sort of put the foot on the brakes pretty quickly, to be honest. But
how'd you go with that? Everyone responds differently.
Yeah, I was okay. I mean, it felt like I'd been hit by a bus, but nothing too catastrophic. But so I came to the end of my isolation period, and then my partner got it like on the last day of my isolation. She came down with it, and it ruined her. It beat the hell out of her lungs, and it was hers was one of the scary cases that you hear about. But she's all good, like all fine now, and our son managed to dodge it. So
cool.
Happy days. But
good old kids.
I don't know how, like, he catches everything else under the sun. We get the highly infectious like Omicron come into the household and just twirls through. Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'll have what he's having. But No, we're doing good. So that put the foot on the brakes a little bit as far as weddings, but I only ended up missing 2 myself, and had them both covered by my friend and yours, Mr. Jack Curry from One Heart. So
yes, Mr. Curry,
he definitely helped out.
There you go. I think someone told me that that he got COVID early in the year as well. Last year,
he did. Yeah, I think he was tail end of last year. I think himself and Janelle, his wife, both caught it. And how that happens for them, I have no idea. Like, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, Jack lives in the middle of nowhere on a farm.
Middle of nowhere.
So,
no one for kilometers.
No, he's like literally like in the back end of Yay. So how he called it, who knows? But no, he got it early, and I know he's been sort of everyone's go-to because like it's ripped through like the wedding world. Like it's absolutely torn us to shreds. So I think he did something like 13 out of 15 days, like weddings just back to back to back to back to back.
Damn.
So, here's to Jack.
Here's to Jack. Well, all
right, that's enough plugging Jack.
no, not plugging about One Heart. We've got, actually, I'm going this afternoon to Marnong Estate, fill in for Damon.
Right.
Damon just
sounds like someone will be filling in for you soon.
Yeah, that one cough, I was like, oh no, it's all going downhill from here. Just unfortunately out of nowhere he's got it, but thankfully
it got Mr. Hughes.
It got Mr. Hughes, so
it doesn't discriminate.
They're going to have to put up with
finely suited men will come down with it. Yeah,
finely suited, perfectly smart. He's got a good smile, Damon. Like, he seems to smile, his whole face lights up.
It's annoying, isn't it? It's just like frustratingly like handsome smile. Every time you see him, you just think, that's how I feel about you.
I smile. I feel like my smile's all gummy. Like, I can see like the top gums, and I don't know. Not that I stare at myself smiling.
It's how you know that your heart's in it.
The more gum, the better.
Yeah, mine's like a suspicious, just like little bit of like tooth. So the higher the lip, the more the joy.
All right, so
I'm never happy.
You never. Must be Russian or something.
Yeah.
So what happens as a photographer when someone feels like they have an awkward smile? Like, what do you tell them to do?
So much of what I do is I could give 2 shits about your awkward smile, because I'm not going for your stage, smile. I want like so many of my photos. I just heard back from a couple who I just shot their gallery across, and she's like, I didn't realize I was such an open mouth smiler. Like, I want the like the black hole of joy. That's the big smile. So look, I don't know, to answer the question, no one's smile is awkward. That's your smile. Like, that's your face. Like, roll with it.
It's true. Not too much you can do about it. You can fill it with stuff, just smile.
Yeah, you can't change that. I mean, people look like what they look like, and I mean, I don't know. A smile is a smile, and that's your face. And like it or hate it, we're rolling with it.
No, but you're right when saying that you don't do posed sort of stills. Like, you're a capture of the moment, and I think that's what a lot of couples want. Like, they want something authentic. They don't want and it is at times. Like, look, everyone wants something different. There are some couples who probably want some of those stage photos too. But when I see them being done, it just doesn't feel as, I don't know, it feels weird watching it.
It's a fine line. I mean, because you don't want to. Some of it has to be posed, like, for sure. I mean, we go out, and like, one of my things that I say to like every client that comes through the door is, I'll pop you a nice light and I'll just tell some dick jokes. I mean, so much of it is, the actual positioning of the couples, like making sure that they are in a spot that like photographs well. And like, I don't know, it's not so much posing as just getting them to be natural with each other. That's so much of what we do is just trying to make people feel comfortable in their own skin for 25 minutes. And
Yeah.
and just be comfortable with each other. And, you know, so much of what we do, like at the start of the day leading up to that moment, is building that trust. We try to get people to be as comfortable as possible with us so that when we do hit that moment where we do need them to just be comfortable for 25 minutes and, you know, be photographed, like actually photographed, you know, that it pays dividends then. So
yeah. Okay, so you sort of see
very
it as
handy. Yeah.
You building the rapport with them earlier, and then by the time that's done, and I guess, you know, maybe it's with the bridal party and all that, and you're cracking jokes, but then it's just the two of them. It's are you still telling jokes? Are you sort of going, hey, walk over there, or is it you talking the whole time?
Look, I'm a talker, so that's sort of a given. Like I don't stop talking. But yeah, look, I mean, so much of it is, so we try to do any portraits with the bridal party, with the couple away from the bridal party. Yeah. You know, God love them, but they are not conducive to a productive session of comfort. So yeah, I mean, it sort of depends on the couple, I guess, how much sort of prompting they need and how much poking from me they need. I'd say probably, I don't know, the majority of it is just, you know, I usually work with my business partner, Steve. He's on the video side of it. It's normally us just cracking jokes at each other, you know, good cop, bad cop, you know, all that sort of shtick.
I take it he's the good cop.
One of those, no, he is the good cop. Yeah, no, I'm a total. You've seen Steve.
Yeah, he's a teddy bear.
To any, I always say our relationship is like Bernard and Manny from Black Books, if you're familiar with that show.
I only watched once or twice, but yeah,
no, it's an interesting relationship. But yeah, look, so much of it is just, you know, we'll grab some beers, we'll go off and relax, and so much of what we're doing is trying to get them to even forget that the cameras are there. I mean, and we spend a massive amount of time, like the mornings. The preparations on the day are just as important for us, like in feeding into that portrait session later, as, you know, anything else. Like we'll go into a you know, groom's house, for example. We don't touch the cameras for like 15 minutes. We go in, like the whole bridal party's there. I'll crack open the fridge, like grab a beer, swing one around to all the groomsmen and stuff. But this is all like calculated. This is if I can get all these people to see us as like the, you know, the seventh groomsman, then that's going to pay later on. And if because let's be honest, it's most grooms don't want their photo taken. They just don't. Like brides do, but it's usually grooms that are, you know, don't want a bar of it. So if I can get them on side pretty early as one of the mates, then that also feeds into that portrait session later on.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Okay. How did you, I think I've asked this before, how did you and Steve actually meet?
Yeah. So I used to work at another wedding venue, just one of the sort of wheel 'em and deal 'em type places out in the suburbs. And Steve used to shoot a lot of those sort of styles of weddings. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but you know, that's that used to be his thing. He was operating as another company at that time.
Okay.
And it just so happened that like I was working in like the bar or whatever, and our breaks would always line up. Like he'd be out the back having that like 5 minute, you know, bit of stuffing your face with food while you possibly can.
Yeah.
On a wedding day. So he'd be out there and I'd be working at this venue, and we would just end up chatting about just random shit. Like just, you know, we both like playing like video games and stuff. So we'd be chatting about that, or, you know, tech or camera gear or, you know, that kind of stuff. And that I'd see him every other week because he was there a fair bit. And then one day he ended up asking like, oh, hey, do you reckon you could edit this wedding video for me? You're into this stuff. Do you want to give that a crack? And I did it. And it was awful. Like I feel I'd love to track that couple down and just fix it. I can't imagine it was great. But you know, I enjoyed taking photos, and eventually Steve sort of says, would you be interested in maybe coming and have a crack at taking some wedding photos? And I sort of came up at a time where it was almost like a changing of the guard type thing, where the photographers I came up with were sort of the more posed, older gentleman type crowd. And then there was this new style of photography that was just starting to sort of pop up, this documentary candid sort of style. And so I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to do that other style that I'd seen so much of. And Steve showed me this new, school of taking photos, this casual, you don't need to roll up wearing a black shirt, black pants, and, be a photographer that calls everyone Chicky Babe. Like you can come in and be yourself and photograph it in this cool way. So that got me on board. And that was like, nearly 10 years ago, I think.
Go.
Yeah, it all went from there. Yeah. And then we've been doing Steve on video and myself on photos since then. And, we've founded like a new company in that. And yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been really cruisy.
Cool. You guys are
a long answer.
Yeah, no, look, you guys are a lot of fun. You're a lot of fun to hang out with, like both of you. It's and I still think probably the funniest moment we've had together is at Immerse. I can't think of their names actually, but I remember it at
stealing
Immerse.
Your jacket, Cat and Ross.
Cat and Ross, that's it, Cat and Ross. And it was a crack of a wedding. He's Scottish, full, kilted up, and he's a funny bloke, and she was funny. She was funny too. Both, she's really out there. He's probably a bit shy, but just good Scottish sense of humor. And we were out the back just having a bit of food in between whatever's going on, reception. And it was sitting there, and Steve's, I hope he's all right. I'm sure he's fine with telling. It's too late, Steve. I'm saying it. You just cop it.
Yeah, go on.
he's sitting there, and like we're sitting next to each other. He's on the other couch, and he's just looking at his watch. And I think you said something like, "Would you stop looking at it? Like you're fine." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And he goes, and you're like, he's worried about his heart rate, and he's just staring. He's like, "It's going up. It's still going up." I'm like. And like, of course it's going up. You're staring at it, and you're scaring yourself, thinking that it's something when it's like this cycle of you're giving yourself anxiety. And we're like, "Are you feeling all right?" He's like, "I feel all right, but my heart rate's going up." And he's freaking out.
I can't remember why he was doing it. Do you remember why? Like, I
have no idea. All I know,
like this is like pre-COVID, so it's not even like we were worried about like a random sickness getting us. I think he was just like generally freaking about his heart.
Yeah.
Look, that says everything you need to know about Steve.
Always freaking out about his heart. It was a wet day. I remember you were drenched to the bone. Was that their wedding?
Like that's that wedding actually killed my cameras. I'll never forget that. That I had just like pure terror. There you go, some inside baseball. So you're down the front. This is for the kiss. You're down the front. Starting to rattle off your I know when you're starting to lead to it, which is nice.
Yeah.
I get myself nice and ready, and so I line up for the photo, and go to take the shot, and this camera just like black screen of death, just died. And so I was like, "Oh, okay," but we carry two cameras, so pull out camera B, go to take the photo, same thing, dies. And you're like going along at a clip, like you are absolutely powering through this, And so I do the thing like every photographer's backup plan is just like rip everything out, all batteries, all cards, just stick them all back in. And you're up to the, "All right, I now pronounce you," and like, like taking these photos. Managed to one of the cameras started working right as they go in for the kiss, but we're talking like half a second. And you've never heard my shutter just like super fast. So it ended up being one of the most photographed kisses of all time because I was so worried about missing anything.
Yeah,
yeah. And the next day, the cameras wouldn't turn on, and I moved over to another camera company straight after that because I'm not risking my cameras going to bed.
No way. So it was just water got into them and.
Yeah, they were crap cameras. Like they were, they weren't the most professional of cameras, but they bit of water would have gotten into them, and I don't know, like if the photos, like I was so happy with the photos I got that day, because it's just like do you remember like the pure chaos like after the ceremony? It just opened up again, and I've got these shots of like an umbrella like ripping, like the wind caught it and it just like ripped it the other way, and Grandpa's got his like jacket over his head, like sprinting to the it was pure chaos, but I ended up stealing your jacket and getting it done, so
well, you guys were drenched, so
jacket.
Yeah, I can't even remember which one I gave you.
The jacket did nothing. It just encased me in
encased you in the wetness.
My wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good wedding. I enjoyed that one.
It was a good wedding. In fact, that's where I got some good ideas for emceeing and stuff like that, just from little things that people had written on the tables, and it was good. But they were a great couple. They were really good. They were really good.
Yeah, they were really fun.
It's good to, and I think soon I'm talking with Farm Vegano, and they want to talk about everything that can go wrong at a wedding. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. That'll be a fun topic. Because naturally stuff goes wrong, whether it's huge to big stuff to small stuffs, but those little moments that we have, little things that can happen. What's obviously we've done hundreds of weddings. What are some of your, maybe something a little lighter, like what are some of your fun, some of the funny moments, or the fun, like some of the good stuff? Like when I say what's the funniest moments, what comes to mind?
There's one it always comes to mind. I rattle this off so often that I'm just got the story on repeat, but I love it so much. It was this groomsman, and he was a best man, rather. He was put in charge of the rings, and so he's I guess he doesn't want to carry around this big ring box in his pocket, so he does the thing, takes the rings out, despite every vendor saying, don't take these rings out. Like, how many times have you said that to someone? Don't take the rings out of the box, just leave them in there. Anyway, free balls the rings, sticks them in his jacket pocket, and comes time to, what's going to happen already, comes time to do the palming off, and he hadn't lost him, but he did reach in, and he's like, does the thing, and they'd gone into the lining, so like into the jacket lining, and they were caught up in the bottom of his jacket, so they've had the venue come sprinting out with like a knife and just slash this bloke's jacket to get the rings out. And just, he's walking around for the rest of the night with this like slashed up like inside jacket. They could have done like a small cut, but no, they went like the full
venues.
So, no, that was pretty good. So I mean, aside from that, other funny moments. Look, we run a pretty serious operation, so we don't have too many funny moments. Oh man, I don't know. There's been times where I've gone thrashing around in a massive, we do a lot of weddings out in the Yarra Valley, and you go out for your sunset photos and off into the tall grass, and especially in summer, I'll do that, overly confident, like clap and stomp to check for snakes, but so much of it is show until like an actual snake does pop up every now and then, and I scream like a child.
I'd pack it if I came across a snake. Yeah,
I don't like snakes. They not a fan, and they're always big ones too. Like they're always these massive like black snakes that just come sliding out of the grass. So that's happened more than once. So I could probably live without that. But I don't know, man. Do you have like one that comes to your mind?
For me, in terms of the funny ones, I don't know if it was necessarily funny in the moment, although I definitely enjoyed, playing with the moment, but it was more and it was with Bottle Brush Films and what they did with it after, I think really just
I think I know about this one. Yeah,
where because private property, we're up at near sort of Dalesford area or Macedon. I think it's Macedon area. Beautiful private property. The house is probably 50 to 100 meters away from where the ceremony was. They've got everyone standing around there. And can you hear this chainsaw? Someone's going on a chainsaw at the back.
No, your
cool.
Sound cancellation is fantastic.
Fantastic. So we're there going to the ceremony. I'm doing my thing, just sharing the story. And I'm looking, from the audience, and I'm looking back to them. And when I look back to them at one stage, I see Callum's face, and it's just got this face of like something's wrong. And I start going in my head internally going like, if I said something wrong, did I say someone else's name? Like, am I not getting the story right? And then I look back and I look back and sort of try and pick up what's going on and see something about like he said, like mouth like rings or whatever. And then I'm just thinking, I'm still going with my thing, just like, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, one of the guys sitting on the front row just mid-ceremony bolts from the ceremony to the house. And I just start waffling, just going, definitely no issue here. We have not forgotten any reason. Like I couldn't even tell you what I said. It was just, I go into emergency waffle zone of I got to make shit up and fill this time. And if thankfully it paid off, and they laughed. They thought it was great. So that was, I think back, I'm like, that was definitely a funny moment.
Have you found that your shit talking skills have like improved significantly since doing weddings?
Probably. I think normally when it's maybe just me at home, I'm probably normally a bit more of a quieter guy, just, I'm just doing my thing, probably just conserving my energy, just waiting for the weekend. But by the weekend, I'd sort of go into, and sometimes I think of it, and it sounds disingenuous, but a little bit like a character. Like it's me, but it's like it's a part of me that I can't tap into all the time. Otherwise, I'd just be exhausted. Like it's definitely the most extroverted, and my mind's racing at 100 miles per hour. So I think when I'm not in that mode, I sometimes stumble for words. I'm just like, my brain's like on sleep mode or just I don't know. Do you find that, like, is it similar? Because obviously you're talking heaps during.
Absolutely. I look, like, full disclosure, like this is the thing that I've like even spoken to a therapist about. Just like
so
because
good.
Like, or because I mean, like that character thing that you've mentioned, like this, like it's absolutely a thing. And I know that it sounds disingenuous, but for client meetings and weddings, and even like things a little bit like this, like any sort of public facing thing, like for sure, there's a character that goes on. Someone that's definitely more confident and outgoing and like boisterous, because you kind of need that. You gotta keep the vibe going, and that's why I mentioned like the shit talking stuff. I mean, so much of my stuff is just like absolute drivel, just waffling and all this stuff. But I don't know, maybe people are faking it, and God love them if they are. But I think that in times of if something like weird is happening, or something's not quite going to plan, which it's a wedding, like happens all the time. No wedding in the history of ever has gone 100% to plan. So in order to like make sure that people feel like everything is still a-okay and nothing's wrong, because it'll always figure itself out. You just got to buy time. My shit talking has absolutely skyrocketed since doing weddings.
And
it's very handy.
And it's essential at times, like particularly if you're trying to get couples to relax. If I need to fill a moment of something that happens, that chainsaw's getting louder and louder. Bloody hell!
I caught my first whisper of it then, but so far still so good.
Like, what's he What's he even cutting down? There's trees here, but anyway, we're in Eltham, of course. There's trees. There's trees growing in the house.
You better hope there's trees, because where you are, you don't want blokes running around with misc chainsaws.
That's true. Maybe that's worse. It's a good thing there's trees. Anyway, running up and down the street.
We live in the middle of a paddock. Why is there a chainsaw going?
Why is there a chainsaw going on?
Why is it getting closer?
Well, sorry everyone for the chainsaw. It's I'm sure it's being run by a really nice guy who has really good intentions, and didn't know we were filming at this time. Yeah, even though it's nighttime and not middle of the morning or midday. But look, shit talking is essential, and there's still little things that happen. Even start of the year, first wedding, she left her vows down the bottom. We were at what winery? Prince. I'm thinking Prince Deck. That is not a winery.
Well, it's not. Yeah, no, that's not a winery.
It's anyway. It's somewhere. It'll come to me later on.
What am I thinking? I wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know. You just
let me think back. When were you at the start of this year?
It's I could probably just look. I've literally got my phone. Yeah, it was Port Phillip Estate. That's it, Port Phillip Estate.
You had the P.
Yeah, I had the P. And she's like, she comes to vows, and sometimes like I'll get given the vows. Otherwise, normally like the bridesmaids will have it. Bridesmaid didn't have it. She didn't have it. So during that time, I just started talking about that, and someone went to go get it. And you know what happened last week?
I do actually. No.
This is the moment. This moment here is where the shit talking. You gotta, like, this is probably the worst moment that can happen, other than someone actually dying mid-ceremony, which would be pretty rough, you know. Someone fainted, and so we were at the wool mill in Brunswick, and you're inside. And look, the ceremony was going great. Like, I'm 100% patting myself on the back, but also everyone was there ready for a good time. It's like if you're there at a wedding and everyone's ready for a party, the vibe is going just off. Then
you can always tell ceremony if it's going to pop. Like people, sorry, go on.
You almost test at the start. You're like, how's everyone doing? And I never sort of tell them they need to be either more up or down. I just test them, see where they're at, and go, cool, I know where I need to take them.
Yeah.
Well, the ceremony is going great. It comes to, so I've done the story. We've had laughs, we've had some tears. It's come to the moment of I'm transitioning from the story into vows and everything. And I'm going, you get a little bit more sentimental. You get everyone connecting, and so what I say is I go, all right. Now I can guarantee this day is going to go by in a big, beautiful blur. So what I'm going to ask you to do, I'll get you just to take a big, deep breath, and I overdrum. I have to go, and they take a deep breath and let it out, and then you hear this, and I looked at the back, and because everyone was like, "Whoa, what was that?" And I was like, "Wow, how'd you manage that?" Until thinking maybe it was a table that had been pushed over, because it was a pretty big bang. Realizing, unfortunately, and I'm looking, it was like the Wizard of Oz, these 2 feet are poking out through the curtains at the back. And I was like, oh, shit. And so I had to suddenly switch to, we're not joking about this, we're pausing and we're going, and I'm just letting everyone know, because not everyone at the front can see, like, we've got some people around there. If someone's a doctor here, now's a perfect time to make yourself a hero. Just eat. And I go, look, what? And
were they just dehydrated so I can laugh about this, or
I think they just got too hot. I think it must have been hotter at the back of the room or something. Like, he was fine. Okay, so and I said, look, we're going to find out how he's doing, and we'll let you know before the end of the ceremony, because I'm getting thumbs up, like, he's good. He's sitting back up. So I'm like, I'm getting the thumbs up, everyone. I think we can keep going. And we'll check up on him later and let you know. And then just sort of, you kind of like, in my brain's going, how the fuck do I recover from that into where I'm going? But just
everybody forget that man.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's awesome. We got 2 things going. So we then carried into everything else, and it worked. But that was probably a good classic moment of thinking quickly off your feet. And yeah, I actually remember.
I feel like his timing was impeccable. That was.
Oh, it was. It couldn't have been performed better. Like it was. Yeah.
You know what you did though? You knocked a bloke out with your breath.
My breath. I don't know. Was it my breath? Was it the collective breath? Was it the energy of the room, Kyle? I don't know.
It's a power not to be trifled with. That's
they say.
I've seen you do that before, and I'll never not be able to think about the man that you nearly killed.
nearly killed at a wedding. Well, I just, maybe there's a hitman role in there. I don't know. At a wedding, looks less suspicious.
I'm going to start introducing you at parties. Hey, this is Pete. He nearly killed a bloke.
He nearly killed a guy. Yeah. Brick killed a guy. But yeah, that was definitely one that was a bit of a that was going on. What about your?
Yeah.
Have you? Obviously, I imagine you've had a few fainters at a few ceremonies, but as a photographer, you just take a photo of them and carry on.
But that's always the most like uncomfortable thing, though. Of like, do I photograph this? Like, and is this a serious? So like, you have to like wrestle with that in your mind.
Yeah.
As it's happened, like while they're mid-fall, you're like, shit. All right, get a couple of quick snaps, get the first responders, get the bridegroom reaction. But it's what do you do in that moment? I mean, I'm there to document the day.
You are.
Do I document fainting Uncle Joe, or
you're like a journalist? if you don't document the day, you're really doing your job.
Well, I mean, that's like our corner of the wedding industry, like at that little like corner of photographers. That's our whole thing. Like we're photojournalists, not we're not setting up the memories of the day. We're just capturing the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Uncle Joe has now played unbeknownst to him at this point, a crucial moment of the day that will go down.
Will forever haunt that day.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be one of those stories. Remember when Uncle Joe fainted at Bill and Mary's wedding? Like, that shit's going to stick with him until the day he dies, and then probably beyond it, because I photographed the bloody thing, and it gets passed on to the next generation. This is stuff that I wrestle with while he's mid-fall. These thoughts occur.
Is it more about like, because I feel like taking a picture is in itself is okay, but in the moment, it kind of might, like, it could seem a little bit.
That's what silent mode is for.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do the under the arm, sneaky. Because I honestly got that. They're gonna want the pictures. Like, what couple wouldn't want the pictures? Like,
exactly. The day that
at least the people that book us, the people that book us have like weird senses of humor. Like they want the photos, but in the moment, no one wants me to be taking the photo of, But like, I know the dude's fainted. Like it's like 42 degrees today, and we haven't had water in 3 hours. Like, of course he's fainted. Yeah. So I'll photograph it. Like, whatever.
I think my first fainting was at, again, this was placed at Dalesford. It was like an old converted church. I can't think of the name of it. This is when I first started, like back in 2016.
Like convent or something, or
no.
Name the one venue in Dalesford. The Salt.
I've got no idea. Yeah, I can't remember.
That's not fair. We love our friends in Dalesford.
We do. They're great. They're good. They're good people. Been to is it the Duck or the Park? The Duck? I don't know. But this guy, he was in the bridal party. So it's like, the guy at the back, if he'd fallen softly, no one would have been the wiser. Or if he'd fallen on something soft, not if he'd fallen softly, did like a break fall.
How do you fall softly?
Or maybe you fall. Yeah. If he'd known Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's particular ways to fall, but he'd probably fall loudly. But maybe if he'd just fallen on someone else, he just went straight back.
God forbid, didn't have a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I know.
It's a tall order.
It's a big order, I don't know how he didn't do damage to his head, because it was a big, and if you're fainting, you're going to fall your head's pretty heavy. Like, I remember reading a sign saying, lose 10 kilos fast, chop off your head. So I'm always think the head's got a decent amount of weight to it, which is not advice, by the way. Don't go chopping your head for weight loss. It's clearly
you're getting interesting frequenting some interesting venues that you're seeing literal signs telling you to
no,
chop your head off.
this was not at a wedding. This was years ago in somewhere in Sydney's strange place. But
often,
faintings,
head loss.
Yeah, keep your head. It's no way to get ahead.
Yeah, no, look, faintings. They're I'm a fainter. I faint at the drop of a hat. So
really,
yeah, I'm shocked. Like, hang on, let me walk you through my my liquids. I have my coffee and my alcohol, but then they're both trumped by my enormous bottle of water because I'm a shocking fainter. I just forget to drink water all the time, and then a 40-degree day will roll around, and I'll just hit the deck. So yeah, it's
Have you fainted at a wedding?
No, because I carry that bottle with me everywhere I go.
Okay, right.
But I mean, I've come close for sure. Because I also drink like a fish at weddings. So oh, surprise! The guy with
the surprise.
Yeah, and I mean, but so much of my thing though is while I'm at weddings too, I am constantly getting the bridal party and groomsmen to just because they're drink for drink with me, they're kicking along, have water because the last thing that I want or they want is to faint at the altar, so yeah, no, I haven't fainted at weddings, but I've definitely seen a fair share of it.
Yeah. All right. So look, fainting is definitely something. What about moments in terms of what are some of the worst moments you've seen?
Worst moments. Well, I mean, those are all at the time pretty bad. That's true, yeah. Do we want catastrophic worst moments or
if if you've got a catastrophic one, do it.
I mean, it's such a broad term. I mean, one person's catastrophic is something entirely to mine, but I just don't. Yeah, I mean, there's not too many weddings. I'm touch wood. I've been fairly lucky. I mean, there's not too many instances I can think of where something has happened where you would then after the fact think back to it. It was my god, that nearly ruined the wedding. There's COVID for sure has played
sure.
That's, I mean, as far as catastrophic things that have happened, I mean, there was a groom that caught COVID, a week before his wedding, and he came out of ISO the day of his wedding. So, as someone who's had the thing, he would have felt like shit. So, stuff like that. I mean, and I mean, the whole postponement saga of 2020 and 2021, that's catastrophic in itself. That's, but as far as things that have actually happened at weddings, there's not, I'm pretty happy to say not too much that springs to mind.
That's good. I've probably got two that I think of. I can think of. So one is, one's when they did the asking. So the asking is where they say, I do, it's nothing legal, it's part of the ceremony. And so I asked, the bride, first asked the groom, do you sort of thing? He's I do. And then I asked her, do you? And she was she said, I do. But as she said, I do, she rolled her eyes. And it was just it made me feel sick. I was oh.
Such a Larry David catastrophic thing to say. It was awful. She rolled her eye.
No, but it was this, you've seen these moments are, this is where someone's about to start pouring their heart out into vows. And it's do you want to marry this person?
I'm picturing the wrong thing. Hang on. Do you mean they rolled their eyes as in in the video sense of that sort of thing? Or no. I do?
No. It was a do you take Kyle to be, your husband and all that? And it was it was almost I do sort of thing, but
that's, yeah.
And do you want to get married? You don't have to. No one's forcing you to. If you think he's a jerk or something, don't do it.
Did you play with it or?
No. Only I saw it. She only did it in my direction, but I was just oh, okay, that's not one I've seen before. Normally, most couples are pretty pumped to get married, but she didn't look. In that moment, she was maybe it was more like, if I have to say this, maybe she didn't. I don't know. I have no idea.
But like in that moment, yeah, I mean, I don't know, devil's advocate, like for sure, she's just playing with but the groom wasn't watching. I don't know. I feel like that's playful, but at the same time,
he was looking at her. She essentially did it to him and to me. And look, it could have been because I guess maybe he was a bit more of a larrikin and he hadn't probably put much effort into the wedding. And I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't bring it up. For me, it was just like, that was weird. It was a weird moment. I was like that. Yeah. I don't know.
No, I get you. Like that's an interesting one. But I think, I mean, so much of that too, though, I find is, I mean, I'm sure there's like backstory to it. Like there's so many things at weddings that happen with like, anyway.
Yeah. No, you're right.
What's number two? What do you got?
I'm sure there's backstory. The second one was down at Epicurean. It's a great venue. It's a beautiful venue. This has nothing to do with the venue. We just want to tell you where it's at. And, we had the ceremony. That went well. We've gone to, Epicurean, now doing reception. I'm emceeing. We're having fun. And midway, I think, so she'd gone to get changed into a dress for the dance. She was about, 5 minutes late. I'm like, she's a bride. She can be late whatever she wants to. 10 minutes late. I'm trying to think, we've got to kind of keep somewhat schedule. So I went to go find her. And before I'm even going, like, find her, in walks a whole bunch of like groomsmen and stuff, and like shaking their head. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, what's up? And he goes, I won't say his name. The groom just punched the bride's dad. I'm like,
oh my God.
Oh shit. Okay. And so I then go, I think when it sort of outside to sort of see what's going on. I couldn't see either of them, but apparently I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, but that was I think the sad thing about, like, that's pretty sad. Obviously there's family stuff going on, but what's sad is, as that then trickled through in about, I'd say less than an hour, about 35 minutes, well over half of everyone had left the reception. So it essentially shut down their wedding. And I think they still did like the dance and that, because that was just when people were still there. But it literally, you could see the conversation and like that story filtering through everyone. It just demolished the rest of their night, which was really sad because it was such a good wedding going on, good party, and
for sure. That's stuff like that. Yeah, that's and it's a shame. It's a two-sided coin. Like weddings, there's so much on the good side of it, like on the heads. Yeah. It's a happy day. Like more often than not, like 99% of the time, everyone's stoked. But it just always seems to be that on the tail side, like weddings just seem to bring out the worst in some people. Like it's always like, this place where family drama and stuff like seems to pop up, and like old grievances, and it's this like, there's always this undercurrent of like the weird family shit that might rear its head, and more often than not, it doesn't happen. But then you get grooms playing fisticuffs.
Yeah. So, look, sometimes, and I normally ask them, like, is there anything I need to know, or is there anything you want to tell me? Either, families are messy at the best of times, and sometimes there's just stuff it's good to know, so I don't, step on a landmine or say something, and it's like, we don't talk.
We used to have that question. Yeah, in our questionnaire, we had like, are there any family politics we should know about?
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know, I come through when I've it's such a like cliche thing to say, I've got no filter, but like I don't know where I'm putting my foot, so I'll just say shit like all day, just talk absolute trash, and occasionally I step in some dog shit. Like I step in some family drama that all of a sudden there's people blowing up around, like, what are you doing? Fade away like a thief in the night. But I think pro tip: leave your dirty laundry at home for weddings. Yeah. That's a good one. Weddings are no place to do washing.
No, just like almost like just smile and bear it. Like it's a wedding. It's not your day to There you shit out.
Yeah, that's a wedding tagline for sure. Smile and bear it.
Smile and bear it.
Grin and get through it. Yeah, smile and bear it. Weddings with Pete.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, like I said, I'm fairly lucky in that I those moments for me have been relatively few and far between. So weddings for me they're definitely a happy place, and
Maybe with you they're always going to be a happy times and happy place. So that's definitely no issue.
No, I bring in my own violent attitude to weddings these days. It's it's all threats and photos. It's our shtick.
Throwing hate words to everyone and
pretty much. Yeah, I make a lot of gang symbols. With my hands, toes get involved sometimes too. It's pretty good.
Man, it's impressive.
And we're back to shit talking. There we go.
This has been good. We might before we do in this, tell people. I haven't even asked you like what business name is. How can people find you? Give us that spiel.
So look, we're very polished, industry titan. We are Valley and Peak, and man, if I could go back in time and change that name, how hard it is to answer a phone and say Valley and Peak and not have someone say Valiant Peak. So Valley and Peak.
Valiant Pete.
Yeah, Valiant Pete.
That's what I'm gonna roll with.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you'll post the bits and bobs with your show notes or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I'll put all that.
valleypeak.com.au and cool. I don't know. We do photos and video, but after this performance, if you still want us, you're brave.
Nah, 100%. I highly recommend Kyle and Steve. I can say and or Steve because you guys don't have to come as a package deal. You can just do your own thing.
No. I even had like a bunch of statistics here written down for in case you got all businessy and wanted to know how's the business tracking for quarter 3 or that kind of stuff. We do operate a business. We've got 20 joint ones for this year, but we've got 60 booked in. We don't always work together.
Yeah.
So I still get to work with, all of our other videographer mates, and Steve gets to work with a bunch of photographers. So keeps us fresh, keeps us on our toes.
100%. Well, guys, everyone,
gives me more to copy from.
Check them out and check out. You've got your own Instagram where you take pictures. You've got those great ones from New Zealand as well. I don't know if you sell those prints, but
I for sure, sell prints and stuff. But it's mostly we teach. Well, I say we. This one's me. Photography workshops and that kind of stuff, and that's the main drive behind my personal stuff is teaching people how to use their gear that they've gone and spent all this money on, but don't have a bit of an idea on how to shoot with. So I don't know whether that's a camera or a phone. I'll tell you how to use it.
Yeah, cool. Well, go check them out, everyone. Valley and Peak, and I'm sure there is a Valiant Peak somewhere, but not there. Not with Kyle and Steve. Go check them out. Incredible guys. I'll make sure you feel really comfortable in your day, and you just get some incredible photos at the end of it, which is exactly what you want. Cool. Kyle, thank you for the almost hour of just talking shit. It's been good, and I'm looking forward to actually doing some weddings with you this year.
Me too, man. Can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. All right. I'll catch you later. And thank you everyone for joining us, and have an incredible day, everyone. Bye. Cause